Hey, my name is Christopher Lee. My friends call me Chris. Since there are so many people out there with the same name as mine, I decided to abbreviate my name and call myself C. Lee on the cover of my book. Also, this is how my granddaddy Lee used to sign his name, so it's also a tribute to him. The name of my book is The Night People, a novel about the paranormal. I'd like to tell you about it now. The first thing I want to say about this book, there will be plenty of cryptid animals. I can promise you that. The story is about a private zoo with animals that are thought to maybe exist but are not yet recognized by mainstream science. There will also be a few creatures thought to have been extinct, but a few specimens have made it to the present day. And you will also see a few creatures that were thought to have only existed in fantasy. Now, I don't want to say anything more about that. I'll just let you read the book and discover these animals for yourself. I also wanted to give this story some substance by showing how wealth and power can cause people to become greedy and corrupted. As stated in the first line, this is a story about greed, obsession, and madness. But you will also see greed among the poor, the middle class, along with the wealthy. You will also see greed among the educated and the uneducated. Honestly, I didn't set out to write the story that way. That's just how my story evolved on a day-by-day basis over 5 years. I will say you learn a lot about yourself when you write a long novel. It is similar to journaling. Another theme explored in this book is how people will quickly take advantage of others. For example, the main protagonist has a quiet life as an office worker in a big city and is suddenly kidnapped because he possesses special abilities that someone else needs. But in their minds, they are doing him a favor by giving him this fantastic opportunity to serve them. I hope you never encounter someone like this in real life. And yes, I know a mysterious island that no one knows about in the middle of the ocean that contains all kinds of mysterious creatures is not really a new idea, but it is a story premise that has worked for a lot of other writers, so I thought I would give it a shot. But I do promise I have tried to give that idea a fresh premise for ethical and, of course, legal reasons. I would also like to tell you how I was inspired to write this book. My fascination with Bigfoot began with a fifth grade trip to the school library. Every week we would go to our library for about an hour for a story time with our librarian, Mrs. Malone. Mrs. Malone was a very kind and special person, and some of my best memories from elementary school were spent in that school library. She always read the coolest stories, and then afterwards we were given the opportunity to browse around the stacks and check out a book and take it home for the week. At the end of every visit, before we left the library and went back to our classroom, we were given the opportunity to show everyone the book that we had picked out. Well, one day I picked out a book about Bigfoot, and the whole room started laughing their heads off because none of them believed that Bigfoot was real. I think Mrs. Malone was the only one there who wasn't laughing. But I enjoyed that book, and I began reading other age appropriate books about Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and the Yeti. As I got older, I read books by Grover Krantz, who gave a very convincing case for Bigfoot, and Frank Edwards, who wrote some good books on the paranormal. A couple of his books are Strange World and Stranger Than Science. They are both very hard to find these days because I believe they're out of print, but if you do come across one of them, I promise it will be very good reading. And I'm sure many of you are wondering where I personally stand on the Bigfoot legend. For years, I suspected the Bigfoot sightings were the result of people seeing diseased bears with mange, or maybe they were seeing large mountain men dressed in bearskin. Now, those two theories might explain many of the sightings out there, but neither of those theories explain the Patterson-Gimlin film, which appears to be gaining in validity as time goes by and digital image analyzing techniques are becoming more sophisticated. Also, the dermal ridges of the footprint casts taken around the country are not consistent with human beings. So, that being said, I personally am becoming more and more convinced that there is a North American ape out there. But I would also tend to believe that we don't see them that much because they are intelligent enough to stay away from us. So they might never be found and recognized by mainstream science. But personally, I believe that is for the best because these creatures do not belong in a zoo. It would be tantamount to false imprisonment. I would also like to share with you a review that was left on Amazon for this book. So, as a first book by C. Lee, right out of the gate, it was a phenomenal read. I can't wait to see what else comes out from him. This is what I like to call Appalachian Gothic with a touch of Verne and Shelley, an ode to the classics and a huge ability to forge something brand new out of ideas you haven't seen in forever. He makes a world with complex characters that you can't help but get hooked. C. Lee has the amazing ability to tell a story the way a good story like this should be told, and it's almost like a conversation around a fire as opposed to just reading a story with a narrative that doesn't go anywhere. If this is the beginning of a series, I can't wait to see where he takes it. If it's something completely different, I can't wait to see what comes out of such a creative mind. If you see this, grab it. You won't regret it. Happy reading, y'all, and enjoy. I would like to thank Tim Emmons for his kind review of my book. At this point, I would like to thank you for watching my video and for your interest in my work. You can find the book on Amazon. It is available as an ebook, paperback, and hardback. If you would like to contact me, my email address is chrisley83@att.net. And in closing, I just want to say I enjoyed writing this book, and I hope you enjoy reading it. Thank you.